think it's slowing down now. It sounds like we're in the calm after the storm. That was absolutely crazy. It just like stopped. Good thing I don't live in a place where there's tornadoes because I'd be freaking out right now. All right, let's begin this video over. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a different kind of video. Kind of sort of different. You know, I like to have hearts to hearts with you guys, but today we're gonna be folding laundry while we do it. This is gonna be a Laundro-Chat, which was started by my friend Michelle over at Michelle Pearson. She just did it in her video like a few weeks ago. She's fold laundry while you're talking. Have some girly talks, talk about some things that we've never talked about before. Maybe share some personal stories. I don't even know what direction this video is gonna go, but I hope that you guys stay all the way until the end, because if you don't know already, I always have a secret emoji at the end of all my videos, but you always have to stay until the end. And probably, maybe, I'll start putting them in the middle of the video just to psych you guys out. Ooh, it got hot in here. Now the sun's out. Oh my gosh, Colorado weather is so bipolar. So how are you guys today? It's been an exciting week. It's been a little bit crazy because school is starting. Eden is starting her first day of school tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's orientation. So we'll be able to see her classroom, meet the teachers, stuff like that. And then Thursday is in 2 days. That's the official first day of school. And she's so excited about it. She's been waiting to go to school for years. I mean, she's been begging me to go to school, and it's not even like preschool. It's like she's been begging me to go to college because my sister is 19 and she goes to college. And so Eden will hear, you know, Kylie talking about college, and she'll be like, I want to go to college too. And I'm like, slow down, you're not even in preschool yet. By the way, if you guys don't know who Michelle is, the one who created this, because I just realized I didn't even give her an introduction. She's an awesome YouTube mommy who started YouTube a year before I did. And so I've been almost on YouTube now for like 5 years almost. So she started either 6 or 7 years ago. And oh no. This is not how I was planning on this video. This is not how I was planning this video to go, seriously. It just like started hailing again, but you just hear like bang, 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 bang. And pretty soon you just see like, oh my gosh, hail stresses me out. I mean, my car's not even parked here. My husband has my car right now, and I really hope that he has it under the canopy thing of the church so that it's not in this weather. It gets crazy in Colorado. If you're from Colorado or anywhere in the Midwest, really, you get it. Like, I'm just talking about the weather way too much. Goodness gracious. Anyway, and she's just someone that I really admire. She recently just published a book, and it's like brand spanking new. I actually just ordered mine today, so I'll get it in 2 days with my Amazon Prime. So excited to read it and share it with you guys. But if you guys like my channel and my content, you will absolutely love her channel. I'm sure most of you know who she is by now. If you don't, you'll love her. So I'll have her channel link down below in the description box. So yeah, going back to what I was saying about Eden starting school. Today we went and got her school supplies, and yeah. Thank you, Thunder, for interrupting me. It is a little late. Oh, here comes a kid.
Let me hear the thunder again.
What's wrong?
I don't like the thunder.
She doesn't like the thunder. Okay, you can sit right there on the couch. I gave her her iPad for this chat because otherwise I knew she'd be over here. Honestly though, like just the last few weeks, I have really had my heart just in this like different spot than it was a year ago when it comes to school. So a year ago, I was like, not anti-homeschool, but I was just kind of like, who has time for that? I don't want to do that. And I feel like lately my heart's been changing on it, and maybe it's God. Maybe he's like nudging me in a different direction. I don't really know. But I look at homeschool in a different way now. I see my friends managing it. I see just how much of rock stars they are at it, and just how well it works for the family. And I think about my own public school journey. Well, I started off in private, like a private Christian school for a few years in my life. And then I went to public school. And my public school was not a good one. They're a pretty lousy like public school system. And I just remember like so much of my years in school being wasted by kids who didn't want to pay attention. So they'd have to be like, they'd have to go to detention or the principal's office, or we'd have like the administrator come in and lecture us for an hour. And it was just like such a waste of my time, because I've always been a good student. I've always wanted to learn. I've always had the desire to learn more things and everything like that. And so it just felt like a total waste of time. And so I think of my kids, you know, going to public school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to do that to them? I'm not making a decision one way or the other at this point, but I do think there's a huge possibility of Eden and Jude being homeschooled starting either next year or the year after. Like maybe what I'll do is I put them into preschool and kindergarten, and then I homeschool starting in 1st grade. I don't know, I haven't really decided yet, but I see, like I said, I see my friends reaping the benefits of homeschool, and it works so well for their families. Oh, something else I want to talk about was, speaking of public school, I wanted to kind of share my story of bullying, of being bullied, and feeling incredibly insecure growing up, which made me go through many years of self-hatred, self-doubt, going periods of time not eating because I wanted to be skinny, you know, stuff like that. Just trying to be somebody I wasn't, basically. And I believe that all of those things, he has a stain on his shirt, so I gotta like soak that. That always ruins my day. But I believe that a lot of the insecurities that we have as adults stem from the things we went through as kids. And I mean, it's just common sense, but we don't always look at it from that perspective. I started therapy almost a year ago now, and I haven't really been back to therapy in a while. It's been a few months. I miss it a lot, and I've actually been meaning to text my therapist and just pretty much ask her if she had any availability coming up, just to kind of touch base with her. But anyway, I learned a lot of things about myself in therapy that I never knew before, and that I never connected the dots on before. And so one of those things was my bullying, was the fact that I've always had people in my life who were fake to me, like they'd pretend to be my friends, and then at other social situations they would ignore me or make fun of me or talk about me behind my back. I think this is all super common stuff, but I felt completely and 100% alone. I was 12 at the time when the bulk of these things happened. And if you know my story, or if you've watched my videos before on this channel, you know that that actually led me to being suicidal. But that's kind of later on into the story. And you know, I know some of you may be watching these recent videos of me accepting my body and the skin I'm in, and you probably look at me like I'm crazy. Like, how can she accept her body when she's overweight or when she's obese? You know, I get those comments sometimes too, and I think they're not always meant to be rude. I don't think everybody is trying to be rude when they ask those questions. Some people might genuinely be curious. So first of all, I'll just start by saying, just because you are not skinny does not mean you are unhealthy. And just because you're skinny doesn't mean you are healthy. To me, that's common sense, because I know skinny people who have, like, you know, I mean, I have a friend who's in and out of hospital all the time. She can't keep her weight up above like 90 pounds. She's sick, her health is in terrible condition. She has 2 kids, but she was never supposed to get pregnant either time. The doctors warned her that it would like lower her life expectancy even more. And yeah, she's just sick all the time, right? People would look at her and be like, well, she's thin, she's healthy, but she's not at all. And her disease isn't something she publicly talks about either. So people don't really know about that about her. But then it's like, in the same token, people will look at people who are overweight and think they're so unhealthy. And it's just like, are you my doctor? Have you looked at my files recently? I have never had any serious health conditions ever. I didn't even have a cavity until after I had Jude. That's how long I went without ever even having a cavity. I've never had anything that was concerning to my doctors or or anything, or even concerning to myself. I guess when people say those things, they're coming from a point of like, you know, what we're always taught our whole lives, which is if you don't exercise on a regular basis, you're gonna like die of a heart attack, which for some people that's true. But then you have people who run 20 miles a day who die from heart attacks. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't really argue with those of you who bring those to light, because you don't really know what you're talking about. You're kind of assuming and you're making assumptions. I was just like you guys. I didn't accept my body for what it was, and I thought I was ugly and unattractive and all that other stuff. And it took just my own personal journey to get to a different place. But one thing that I realized when I was in therapy and I was talking to my therapist, and we were kind of just working through some of these, like some of this pain that I'm dealing with and some of this stuff that I'm trying to like overcome, when my past got brought up into the picture, she literally said the words, okay, this makes sense now. Because for the longest time, we couldn't pinpoint why I felt insecure. We couldn't pinpoint why I felt replaceable. We couldn't pinpoint any of that stuff. I am someone who struggles with friendships, even close relationships of mine in my life, whether it's my husband or my family members or whoever. Like I often feel that I'm forgotten about, or that I'm not important. And when I'm in like a right state of mind, like I'm right now, I'm like, that's so stupid. Like obviously people care about me, obviously I'm loved. But like in the moment, it's hard for me to stay focused on that. If he, say like we're in the middle of argument, David and I are in the middle of an argument, and he says something like, you know, he just says something that I feel like is a harsh tone of voice, even if it's not, or if he wasn't meaning it to be that way, I automatically jump to the side of like, oh my gosh, he doesn't actually love me like he says he loves me. It's dumb, obviously, because like he wouldn't be married to me if he didn't love me, and he wouldn't have committed his life to me if he didn't love me. And you know, marriage is hard, it takes work and everything like that, but it's me jumping to conclusions, and because I've been hurt. The situation that I recalled to my therapist happened when I was in 7th grade, I think. So 6th grade. They start middle school in Colorado in 6th grade. I know in like the East it's 7th grade, which I feel like is more appropriate. I don't feel like middle school should start in 6th grade. I think you're way too young to go to that sort of hell. Okay, because middle school is hell, let's just be honest. And I think the longer we can delay that, the better. I remember like where I was sitting. I remember the details of the day perfectly. We were doing we were dissecting an animal, I think, or we were just looking at a dead animal. I don't remember. I think it was an owl. And I was leaning over the counter looking at the animal. And you guys know, we all go through those awkward stages of being a kid where we wear, you know, the wrong thing, or we do our makeup a weird way. I always had like the craziest makeup, and I got made fun of it for all the time. People made fun of my makeup. But I used to wear like the really tight shirts. You guys remember those shirts back in the day? Like super tight t-shirts with like different things that say on them, like angel, star, glamour girl, you know, like all those cheesy, fun middle school prints. Anyway, I guess I didn't realize it, but my shirt was pulled up a little bit in the front. And I just remember everyone around me was like laughing and giggling, and I didn't know what was going on. This was probably my first time that I can recall being publicly ridiculed for the way that I looked in a public setting. And so I was naive to it. I didn't really understand what was going on. Throughout my whole life though, I've never liked when people like laugh at me or make fun of me. I mean, I think that's common amongst most people, but I used to like just shut down as a kid if I was like being laughed at or made fun of. It's like literally the thing I hate the most is that. Like, yeah, I still don't like it to this day. I've just learned how to like handle it better. But anyway, so a bunch of them were laughing and giggling, and then eventually I realized they were talking about me. One of them said something like, yeah, she doesn't even realize her fat rolls are hanging out of her shirt. And at this point I was sitting down at the desk, And you know, when you're 11 years old, you think you're like the fattest thing in the world, and you're not. Like, I look back at old pictures and I was just like, I don't even see like the slightest amount of fat on my body. I wasn't even considered overweight. But mentally in my head, I thought that my body was imperfect. And this is what I am going to try my hardest to make sure that my daughter never has to go through. I mean, she'll be publicly ridiculed and shamed, I'm sure, because everybody is. But I don't never want her to go through life thinking that she's overweight or that her body is wrong or that, you know, it's imperfect. And all of these like body struggles that I dealt with growing up, I kept a lot of it to myself. They said, look at all that fat hanging out of her shirt, and pointed at me and laughed for a little bit and said, she's so fat, you know. And at this point I knew what was going on. And I could see them all looking at me and all of them pointing at me. It's like, guys, I'm 27 years old now. That was, let me do the math, 16 years ago? 16, yeah, 16 years ago. And I still remember everything about the moment in vivid detail. I still remember every look. I still remember every person's name that was involved, which I actually talk to a lot of them now. Most of them I still know to this day, and they probably don't even remember it, you know. But it was like the beginning of me really looking at my body and being like, this isn't worthy. This isn't acceptable. This isn't beautiful. I'm just a person to be mocked at. And 11 years old is so young. When you're 11, you think you're old, or you think you're mature. Not old, but you think that you can handle those things. You think you're mature, and then you look back when you're an adult and you're just like, that's literally like a baby. 11 years old is a baby. And your mind is so impressionable at that age. It's like somebody could tell you something that's a complete lie and you believe it for the rest of your life. And so now, flipping back to these days with my relationships, my friendships, I'm always constantly worried that someone's saying something about me behind my back, and it's so dumb and it's so pathetic. And trust me, I want more than anything to just be able to like be like, I don't care what anybody thinks, like I don't care. But I still do, because there's a part of me that's still an 11-year-old girl in that body. This is literally one scenario where I was bullied. And I was bullied so many times for my weight, I can't even count. I'm still bullied for my weight on YouTube. Now I've got to the point where it's like, sometimes the comments will hurt. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna just be like, they never hurt. But I know people are hurting now. I know that hurt people hurt others. And that those kids that said those things about me, the only reason that they said those things to me is because that's what they've been taught their whole life by someone. Whether it was their mom, their dad, grandparent, someone taught them that there's a level of perfection or beauty that people have to obtain. And that makes me sad. It really, like, even more so than like the pain that I felt as an 11-year-old being made fun of, I feel bad for those kids that were taught that that's normal to treat people like that. I just folded all my laundry. So, but you know, we see these things now in the news, especially with everything going on right now, with all the recent events of what's been happening. And it's just like, it just goes to show you that, you know, the hate and mean words and all that stuff, that's taught. You know, we're not born to hate people of a different skin color or a different race or religion or body type. That's ingrained into our minds somehow. We are constantly surrounded by words and messages everywhere, but we have the option to take what we've learned from our parents, from our peers, from TV, from everything like that, and we have the option to like change that around and to be like a decent, loving, accepting person. If you're a young person watching this video, just be that person that loves people. And they may look different, they may look funny, they may not be the same as you, but that 5 seconds it takes to love somebody or to stick up for somebody will affect them for the rest of their lives, because nobody said anything in that room when I was 11 years old. And here I am today, folding my laundry as a mother of 2. And you know how they say, like, you forget about all that stuff and you move on, like you forget about high school and move on with your life and you just forget about it. In some ways that's true. Like you forget about how hurt you were, you remember it in your head about how you don't feel it though, but you never, ever, 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 ever forget the words that somebody says to you, ever. Your words have the power of life or death, and the people that you surrounded yourself around your whole life, those people's words have the power and authority over you too, but they don't have to stay there. And that's what I'm trying to learn in my life right now, that even if my best friend or even my husband were to walk out on me today in my life and say, I hate you, you're ugly, like whatever the worst case scenario is, like oh, if you could think of the worst thing possible, even if those things were to happen, I can stand firm in who I am and who Christ made me to be, and not let those words affect me in the way that they did when I was 11. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that this encourages you to be a nice person. If you are a mean, kind of a bully person, I don't know how many younger people are watching this video because I feel like most of my audience is like the moms, but there are some of you younger kids on here, and if you're being bullied, it is true, it doesn't last forever. But don't lie to yourself and say that you will forget these words when you're older, because you won't. And I think working through them now, talking to an adult, talking to somebody about them is going to help you be able to not get over it faster, but to just work through your problems and your emotions. Like there's nothing wrong with being sad, there's nothing wrong with being angry, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. You gotta work through your emotions as they come. This video went on a totally different place than I thought it was gonna go, but this was a lot of fun being able to fold my laundry with you guys, and I hope you guys liked this video. And if you like enjoyed this kind of a style of video, then let me know, and I will maybe do more in the future. There are so many topics that I feel like I haven't talked about with you guys, and I just want to share, because I know so many of you guys struggle with like the things that I struggle with, and I know like watching videos like this helps you not feel like you're alone, because I know when I'm struggling with my anxiety or my depression or whatever it may be, like watching videos or talking to people who are going through what I'm going through or like-minded like me, it really helps me realize like, oh wow, I'm not alone. There's other people that are struggling, not just you, Shaylee. And so that's what I've always wanted my channel to be, is a place where you guys can know you're not alone and know that you're loved. And so I'm really interested to hear if there's anything from your past that you still think about as an adult. I would be interested to hear that if you want to share, if you feel comfortable sharing that. Let us know down in the comments below. I love praying for you guys, and I love just being able to like know what's going on in your life, and yeah. So anyway, I feel like super emotional now after that video. Like I feel like I need to go, like just pray for those people, pray for that 11-year-old self that's still sometimes trapped in my body, and just move forward. So I love you guys. Thanks for watching. And like I said, if you want to see more videos, let me know. And don't forget about the secret emoji. Put down in the comments below. This video is super long. I'm sorry. Love you guys. Bye.